Hey guys, I'm back to do my next character review. I haven't done one in a while, mostly because my friend's been away on vacation. But I'm back today to do one. This time my friend and I are doing something that we've actually never done before, and that is reviewing two characters that are related to each other. The characters that we're reviewing this time are, Goofy and Max, from, Goof Troop, the Goofy movies, and the Mickey Mouse and Friends franchise. My friend did his Max video yesterday, and I'm here today to do my Goofy video. And I'm sorry if the video is kind of all over the place. Like I said, I haven't done one in a while, so I'm a bit rusty, and also a lot of these complaints kind of go together and overlap, so it's kind of hard for it not to be all over the place, so I apologize in advance. Anyway, the complaints that he gets are, he's stupid, he's clumsy and breaks everything, he does nothing but cause problems for his friends, he's annoying, they ruined his character in Goof Troop and the Goofy movies, because they tried to add depth to him and only made him less funny. He's a bad father and spoils Max. He lets his son walk all over him and abuse him. He's an exaggeration of the lame and embarrassing parent. He cheated on Clarabelle with Sylvia. He's too nice and never stands up for himself. And get ready for a dumb fan theory. He cheated on his wife with Minnie when he had Max. Okay, starting with he's stupid. Well, there's no denying that he's not real bright. As far as him being actually stupid, especially stupid to the point where he's, unlikable, to me that kind of depends on what version of him you're talking about. I mean, the only version of him that I'd say is so stupid to the point that he's a drooling idiot that can't take care of himself and is unlikable, I'd say is the version of him in, the new, Mickey Mouse TV series that started in 2013, and is done in that real primitive style where they're supposed to look like they're back in the really old cartoons. You may not be familiar with that, but if you've seen him in that, that's definitely a legitimate complaint about that version of him. I mean, yeah, he's definitely a stupid, drooling idiot in that. That can't take care of himself, in one episode can't even get to the bathroom on time. But for the most part, for the most part, while he's definitely not the brightest bulb in the box, he's not to the point where he's so stupid that he's unlikable. I mean, not being very bright is one of his flaws. And especially when you get into the, especially when you're talking about the Goof Troop and Goofy movie versions of him, where he plays the father figure. While he still is no genius and isn't very bright in those, he's I'd say that he's brighter in those than he is in the shorts, where pretty much his only role is a dumb slapstick comedy relief character. Because if you watch him when he plays the father figure, you can definitely tell that he has some wisdom to him. And gives Max advice about things and that sort of thing. So as far as him being stupid, while he's never a genius, it depends on how stupid he is, depends on what version of him you're talking about. For me personally, I personally prefer the father figure version of him. And as far as him being so stupid that he's unlikable, I'd say that the only version of him where that really happens is the one in the new Mickey Mouse series. Because that's the only time where I'd say that he's like a he's like a total drooling idiot that can't take care of himself. And now we've got our 2 1/3, our 3 1/3 character where stupid was actually a legitimate complaint. Since the others being Anastasia, Tremaine, Launchpad, McQuack, and Hugo, one of the 3 gargoyles. Anyway, moving on. He's clumsy and breaks everything. Again, being clumsy, like being not very bright, is one of his flaws. And part of his charm. Like I said, in the shorts, where he pretty much plays the dumb slapstick comedy guy, part of his charm is... A big part of his charm is the slapstick comedy, where he can't keep his balance and falls downstairs and off buildings and does his signature "Yahoo!" yell. So, being clumsy and falling down and breaking things is a big part of his character, and one of his flaws. They did dial it down somewhat in the when they turned him into the father figure with some depth in Goof Troop and the Goofy movies. Which I will talk about more in later complaints. Well, like I said, a lot of these overlap. I mean, I guess I can see why this bothers some people, especially when it's pretty much all that he does. But I mean, he's a slapstick comedy character, and that's what he does. And to me, that's more of a complaint about slapstick comedy characters than Goofy himself. He does nothing but cause problems for his friends. How? I mean, yeah, like I said before, he is clumsy and he's not very bright. But it is shown several times that, despite the fact that he isn't all that bright and falls down and breaks things a lot of times, that he's quite capable of helping people. I mean, think about the House of Mouse episode, Max's embarrassing date, where all Max wanted was to be left alone. And everybody was, making such a big deal about him and Roxanne, and then Goofy stepped in and stopped them from doing it. I mean, to me it seems like that his friends were the ones that were causing problems and not him. Well, and I mean, he's not the only he's not the only Mickey Mouse and Friends character who causes a lot of problems. I mean, think about Daisy. She's constantly barging in where she's unwelcome and causing problems. At least, when Goofy does it, it's unintentional. So, I mean, while he does probably cause more problems than Mickey and Minnie do, I don't really see that he causes that many more problems than, like, Daisy does, or even Donald, in a lot of cases. It's just that, it's just that, when he does it, it's unintentional. And it's not like, barging in where you're unwelcome, or throwing a wall-eyed fit in the case of Donald, and that sort of thing. He's annoying. Annoying is very subjective. I'm not gonna get too deep into this. I can definitely see why he might be annoying to some people. Especially certain versions of him, like I mentioned, the new Mickey Mouse TV series, version 1. He's obviously not annoying to me, since he's my, second favorite fictional male character, and fourth favorite fictional character. I mean, sorry, I stutter. I can definitely see why he'd be annoying to some people, with his clumsiness and, stupid moments and that sort of thing. I mean, to each their own. A lot of people think that, Rapunzel from Tangled is the most charming character in the world, and I find her, really annoying, so to each their own. If he's not your cup of tea, then he's not your cup of tea, so I'm not gonna get too deep into that. They ruined his character in Goof Troop and the Goofy movies because they tried to add depth to him, and only made him less funny. To each their own, again. Personally, I prefer the Goof Troop and Goofy movie versions of him, because, well, he has more depth to him than he does in the cartoons, where he's nothing but a slapstick, a one-dimensional slapstick comic relief character. In the Goof Troop and Goofy movie version of him, he's got a lot of depth to him. He's not very bright, but he's very smart in certain areas. He wants Max to be strong and independent, but is still overprotective. And they still, while they did tone down his slapstick comic relief, that side of him, it's not gone. It's still there, and he still has plenty of funny moments. It's just toned down. And I mean, he's not the only Mickey Mouse and Friends character that they've done that with. I mean, if you look at, like, Uncle Scrooge, and compare, like, the DuckTales version of him and the Mickey Mouse and Friends version of him to the original comic version of him, he was pretty much a one-dimensional greedy miser in the early comics, but he was toned down quite a bit for DuckTales and Mickey Mouse and Friends. They didn't completely get rid of his of his greediness. They just toned it down a lot and added more depth to him. And the same is true with, like, Minnie Mouse. In the early shorts, she was nothing but a one-dimensional damsel-in-distress character. And while she will still play the damsel-in-distress on occasion, today she's quite a strong, independent character that has depth to her. And sorry, I lost my train of thought. And just like with those two, the two that I just mentioned, they were, they expanded on their character and gave them some depth, just like they were trying to do with Goofy in the Goof Troop and Goofy movie version of him. Which they've done with many of the Mickey and Friends characters. Sorry, like I said, this review is going to be all over the place. Just like they did with Mickey and Friends characters like Minnie Mouse or Uncle Scrooge and other ones. They were trying to expand him and give him some depth to his character rather than just having him be a one-dimensional slapstick character. They didn't completely change or alter his character. They were just trying to expand on it. I mean, if you prefer the one-dimensional slapstick version of him, I don't have anything against it. And it's not like they got rid of it or anything. So if you prefer it, that's your business. That's your business, and To each their own. But I personally prefer the father figure version of him with some depth to him. And that's what characters do. They evolve over time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now, there are bad ways to evolve characters. Like with the for lack of a better example, the crazed feminist version of Webby in the rightful owner's graphic novel of DuckTales that I just got done reading. Any DuckTales fans who haven't read that, stay far away from it. Yes, they actually turned Webby into a crazed feminist. Stay away from it. She's rude and smart-mouthed and and everything that that I don't like, and literally demands that Scrooge give up his fortune for those who have less than he does, and give back all of the treasure that he found to give back all the treasure that he found, and give his give his fortune to women who need it. Yes, they actually made a crazed feminist version of her. Stay far away from that graphic novel. Sorry if I got off track. Anyway, moving on. He's a bad father and spoils Max. Where's your proof that he spoils Max? Where? I mean, yeah, he's not as firm with him as, like, Pete is with PJ, but that doesn't mean he spoils him. That doesn't mean that he spoils him. And I mean, I suppose that one might argue that the fact that he didn't try to punish him after he caused the problems at school, he spoiled him a little or something like that, but I mean, at the end of the movie, he realizes that what he was dragging him off on a vacation that he didn't want to go on wasn't the right thing to do. And that keeping him under his wing all the time and trying to protect him wasn't the right thing to do. I mean, just because he makes a few mistakes doesn't mean that he was spoiling him. I mean, I've heard this complained about a lot of... I think that people confuse... I think that people kind of confuse being overprotective with your child, and making a few mistakes with them as spoiling them. Cause I mean, I've heard it about, King Triton, and even Geppetto. So, come up with a better reason than that to dislike him. Plus, I mean, he's a, you've got to take into consideration the fact that he's a single father who lost his wife, so he's going to be a little protective and, a little overly loving of his son. Excuse me. I mean, what on earth did he do that shows that he, that he spoils him? I mean, when I think of parents that spoil their kids, I think of ones like, for lack of a better example, the parents on Jessie that, literally throw material objects at their kids, to express their love, to them, and never teach them anything, and, are hardly ever around, or, like the parents in, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, especially, Veruca Salt's parents that put off shelling the peanuts to have so that the candy bars can be unwrapped and his precious daughter can find the golden ticket and, are willing to buy anything she wants, and don't, say anything to her when she throws fits and that sort of thing. That's more what comes to mind, when I think of a parent that spoils a child. Not a overprotective father that makes a few mistakes, and, may not be quite strict enough. Anyway, this one kind of goes with the last one, but, he lets his son walk all over him and abuse him. How? I mean, yeah, yeah, Max does yell at him sometimes, but, so do all teenagers. So do all teenagers. All teenagers yell at their parents, and, I think that he had a hard time knowing, exactly how to handle, exactly how to handle the situation. I'd say that the second movie was probably the only time that, that he took a little bit of abuse from Max, besides just the usual, parent-teenager fighting. But even in that, even that was nothing compared to, well, like I mentioned before, the, like the parents in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, where the, where the little girl, where Veruca Salt throws wall-eyed fits and the dad just, gives her whatever she wants. I mean, all parents and teenagers bicker with each other. I know that I bickered with my parents, especially my mom, plenty. as a teenager. And, this does kind of go with a later complaint, but part of one of Goofy's flaws is that he is a little bit too nice. And, doesn't like confrontation, and doesn't like to appear mean to people. Yeah, this kind of goes with a later complaint. Like I said, a lot of them kind of go together. But it's not to say that he never stands up for himself, but much like Minnie, that's part of one of his flaws. Moving on. He's an exaggeration of the lame and embarrassing parent. Yeah. Yeah, there's no denying that he's an exaggeration of that. But, what do you expect from the Mickey Mouse and Friends franchise, seriously? I mean, most of the characters are exaggerated versions of something. Or are very exaggerated in some way. I mean, take Scrooge, for instance. I mean, he's a very exaggerated, version of the, wealthy relative that, that a lot of cartoon characters have. I mean, he's got, like, I think he said he was a quad-zillionaire. There's no such thing as $1 zillion. And, think about, Donald when he throws fits and can't understand. And you can't understand him. So yeah, Goofy is definitely an exaggerated version of the embarrassing parent, but he's definitely not the only character from the Mickey Mouse and Friends franchise that is exaggerated. So that's... If you've got a problem with him being exaggerated, then you've pretty much got a problem with the whole Mickey Mouse and Friends universe. Since pretty much everybody there is exaggerated in some form or another. Nice try, but pick a better reason than him being exaggerated than to dislike him. Because they all are, and being exaggerated isn't necessarily a bad thing. He cheated on Clarabelle with Sylvia. Well, you've got to take into consideration the fact that, there are a lot of different versions of his character. Like I mentioned before, there's the slapstick comedy version, the, really stupid version in the new, Mickey Mouse TV series, and the father figure version, and, and different versions of him have different relationships. Like, well, take for example, Pete. Pete is married to, Peg in the Goof Troop version of him, but in the comics, he's actually dating, he's not married at all, and he's dating a fat woman that looks basically like a female version of him named, Trudy. And I doubt that they were thinking, oh, he's cheating on his wife in the comics. They were just making a different version of him. And same thing with Goofy, Clarabelle, and Sylvia. I don't think that, that they were thinking Goofy's cheating on Clarabelle. I think that they were making a different version of him where his relationship with, Clarabelle didn't even exist. That was always my take on it. So, you've got to take into consideration that a lot of these, that with the Mickey Mouse and Friends franchise, there are several different versions of the characters, and their relationships and stuff, their relationships and their personalities and their dates and whatever, a lot of times don't even fit together. So, nice try, but, you need to think about it logically and think about the fact that there are different versions of them. And they don't work like, and it doesn't work like real people in real life. Anyway, moving on. He's too nice and never stands up for himself. Like I mentioned in the he lets Max walk all over him one, that's one of his flaws. I wouldn't say that he never stands up for himself, but a lot like Minnie, he is a bit too nice and doesn't like confrontation, and does have a hard time standing up for himself. So yeah, along with being not real bright and clumsy, that's one of his flaws. It's what makes him a human or humanoid dog or whatever. Sorry, my throat's getting dry. Yeah, that's not to say he never stands up for himself. But it is what one of his flaws. And I mean, disliking a character just because they're a flawed character, you might as well dislike practically every character except the, Mary Sue's, like, Belle and that sort of thing. But the times that I remember, I'd say that he stands up for his friends more than himself. Like I mentioned before, he stands up for, like I mentioned before, he stands up for Max in, House of Mouse. When Max wants to be left alone, and everybody is, and nobody will leave him alone. But but also in, like, the Goofy movie, when Max finally gives him the wrong direction, he stops the car and gets out, and Max tries to explain everything to him. He finally says, "Why bother? I'm probably too stupid to understand anyway, right?" And that kind of goes with the earlier complaint about letting Max walk all over him. Then later he tells Max how he just wanted to be part of his life. I know that. I just wanted to be part of it. So yeah, he does stand up for himself. He's just not as aggressive about it as, say, Donald, Daisy, Scrooge, pretty much the whole Duck family is. And moving on to the stupid fan theory, he cheated on his wife with Minnie when he had Max. Okay, let me explain the whole theory to you. According to fans, he had an affair with Minnie and got her pregnant with Max. Minnie didn't want Mickey to know that, she had cheated on him, so, she gave Max to Goofy, and when his wife found out, she divorced him and left him as a single father. That's the fan theory. Let me respond with one of my That's how stupid I think that is. Where in the heck did that come from? Where in either of Minnie or Goofy's personalities would it indicate that that they would cheat on their wife or boyfriend? Where? That has got to be one of the dumbest theories and complaints I have ever heard. Stop bringing sex into Disney, people. Stop it. If you're into that kind of dirty stuff, Disney is not for you. It does not exist. Sex does not exist in the Disney universe. It doesn't. Disney fans must have much dirtier minds than I first thought to come up with garbage like that. Go read a Harlequin romance or something if you want to get involved in garbage like that, and quit bringing it into the Disney universe. It doesn't exist in Disney because Disney is aimed at children. And that's all I have to say about that. Anyway, I personally love Goofy. Like I said before, he's my second favorite fictional male character after Scrooge McDuck, who's my favorite fictional character, and my third favorite Mickey Mouse and Friends character after Scrooge and Minnie and Webby, who tie for my favorite. Yeah, you can tell how much I love Mickey Mouse and Friends. Like I said, I especially love the father figure version of him. Sorry, my dog just came in. The father figure version of him. I think that he's definitely got some depth to him. A lot more depth than people give him credit for. And I think that he's still a very funny character, even though they did tone down his slapstick comedy and everything. Anyway, that's about all I have to say. The link to my Friends Max video will be in the description box below. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye, and see you next time.